Welcome to Cold Brew Finance's end-of-week World Currencies, Stock Markets and Commodities Deep Dive for Friday, April 4, 2025. Kicking things off, I'm Victoria Cashmore. Key currencies showed mixed results against the US dollar. The greenback experienced notable weakness, falling 2.1% against the Swiss franc and 1.9% versus the Japanese yen, while gaining 4% against the Australian dollar. Weekly returns highlight significant movements. The dollar showed particular weakness against the Swiss franc, declining 2.16% for the week. Conversely, it demonstrated strength against the Australian dollar, gaining 2.15% over the same period. Long-term performance shows the dollar's mixed results. Over 10 years, it gained 23.5% against the yen and 26.4% versus the Aussie dollar, while declining 9.5% against the Swiss franc. Additional currency pairs show varied trends. The dollar gained 2.1% against the New Zealand dollar, while showing downward momentum against the Canadian dollar after 3 consecutive weekly declines. Weekly performance metrics reveal the dollar strengthening notably against the Kiwi, up 2.15%. The yuan and Singapore dollar showed more modest movements with gains under 0.4%. 10-year returns show substantial gains for the dollar against several currencies, notably rising 35.7% versus the New Zealand dollar and 37.5% against the Indian rupee.
Looking at global stock market tracking ETFs, I'm Max Profit. Turkey, Mexico, and India ETFs all show very strong negative trends, with declines between 3–4%. New Zealand recorded a new one-year low, falling 4.5%. Year-to-date returns show mixed performance. Mexico is up 6.6%, while Turkey and New Zealand are down over 11%. India and Philippines show declines around 5–6%. Looking at longer-term performance, India shows the strongest 10-year return at 51%. Philippines and Turkey have declined over 30% in the same period. Mexico is down 16%. Several European markets showed significant weakness. Poland and Norway fell over 11%. Japan hit a new one-year low, dropping 11.1%. Sweden has declined for 4 consecutive weeks. Despite the sharp weekly declines, year-to-date performance varies. Poland maintains a 20% gain, while Japan is down 8.3%. Norway and Sweden show modest gains around 2%. 10-year returns reveal Austria leading with a 39.6% gain, followed by Japan at 21.2%. Sweden shows a modest 13% gain, while Norway has remained essentially flat.
Considering commodities, I'm Liquidity. Gold futures hit a new all-time high at 3,056.10 before retreating 1.8%. Despite the pullback, it maintains a very strong positive trend. Silver futures and copper futures both saw significant declines of 16% and 14.1% respectively. Weekly returns show substantial weakness in precious metals. Silver leads the decline with a -16% weekly return. Aluminum has closed down for 4 consecutive weeks, while palladium shows increased downward volatility. Long-term performance reveals gold leading with a 10-year annual rate of return of 9.8%. Silver and copper show more modest 10-year returns at 5.8% and 4.9% respectively. Aluminum lags with just a 1% annual return. Energy markets face significant pressure. Brent crude and crude oil futures both hit new one-year lows, dropping 9.8% and 10.6% respectively. Heating oil shows strong downward volatility with consecutive weekly declines. Year-to-date returns highlight weakness across energy futures. Crude oil leads the decline at -13.6%. Natural gas shows relative strength with a positive 5.1% return, while gasoline maintains a modest 2.8% gain. 10-year returns in energy remain modest. Natural gas leads with a 3.5% annual rate of return. Crude oil and heating oil show similar returns at 2.3% and 2.2% respectively. In livestock futures, feeder cattle hit a new all-time high before retreating 4.1%. Class 2I milk reached a new one-year low after 3 consecutive down weeks. Corn broke out from sideways movement, gaining 3%. Year-to-date performance shows Class 2I milk down significantly at -17.5%. Lean hogs and feeder cattle maintain positive returns at 4.6% and 4.5% respectively. Live cattle shows a modest 3.4% gain. In livestock futures, live cattle futures and feeder cattle futures both show long-term positive performance. Notable is feeder cattle's significant 60% three-year return, while Class 2I milk futures shows a strong negative trend with consecutive weekly declines. Grain futures show mixed performance. Corn futures broke upward after consolidation, rising 3%. Soybean futures dropped 2.9% amid downward volatility. Rough rice futures hit a new one-year low at 13.7. Year-to-date returns reveal challenges in the grain sector. Soybean futures and wheat futures show negative returns, while oat futures maintains a positive 4.2% year-to-date return, despite recent weakness with 2 consecutive down weeks. Long-term performance in grains shows significant decline. Wheat futures and soybean futures both recorded substantial 3-year losses exceeding 37%. Oat futures shows the steepest decline, down 52.8% over 3 years. Soft commodities show notable volatility. Cocoa surged 5.6%, while orange juice fell to new yearly lows, down 5.1%. Coffee futures broke downward after consolidation, declining 3.8%. Year-to-date performance varies widely. Coffee futures leads with a 14.3% gain, while orange juice has declined dramatically, down 54.1%. Cocoa shows strong weekly gains despite negative year-to-date returns. Long-term returns show extremes. Cocoa posted remarkable 3-year gains of 228%, while cotton futures declined 53% over the same period. Coffee futures maintained strong performance with a 76.8% one-year return.
And with that, we conclude another end-of-week World Currency, Markets and Commodities episode. I'm Victoria Cashmore, along with my AI co-hosts Max Profit and Lou Quiddity. Thanks for watching. Look for daily wrap-ups every day just after 5 p.m. New York time. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Cold Brew Finance is an experimental project with market reports written, narrated and delivered totally by AI, with market data kindly provided by financialmodelingprep.com. Always seek professional financial advice before making any investment decisions. Check into the channel daily for coverage of stocks, crypto, currency and commodities. Thanks for watching.